My shift started like any other, sliding on my stiff black heels, forcing my hair into a neat bun, and putting on the customer service smile I'd learned to fake so well. Working at Hamilton and Reed, the most exclusive designer store in the city, meant every customer expected you to treat them like royalty, even if they treated you like trash. I was folding cashmere sweaters by the display window when the door chimed. In walked a man who didn't fit the usual crowd. His jacket was wrinkled, his jeans faded, and his shoes, they looked like they'd walked through more than one storm. His hair was messy, his face unshaven. Definitely not our regular client. Jenna, my supervisor, spotted him too. Her lips curled into that fake smile she reserved for the cameras when corporate visited. She leaned in and whispered, "Watch this one. He's probably here to waste our time or steal something." I hated how she assumed things about people based on their clothes, but I stayed quiet until I heard her voice rise. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave," Jenna snapped as the man ran his fingers gently over a display of Italian leather wallets. He looked up, confused. "I haven't even—" "We have real customers to attend to," she cut in, loud enough for other shoppers to hear. A few turned to stare. I felt my chest tighten. The man shifted uncomfortably, lowering his gaze. "I was just looking," Jenna scoffed. "Exactly. And you can do that somewhere else." I couldn't take it anymore. I stepped forward. "Excuse me," I said, my voice trembling but firm. "He's allowed to look." Jenna turned, her glare like ice. "Stay out of this, Sophie." But I didn't. I moved toward the man, blocking Jenna's path. "We don't judge customers here, right?" Jenna's nostrils flared. "He's not a customer." The man spoke softly, almost apologetically. I actually wanted to buy something." Jenna crossed her arms. "Sure you did." That's when I noticed the man's hand tighten around something in his jacket. A card. He pulled it out slowly and placed it on the counter. It was black. Matte black, with silver edges. I blinked. That wasn't just any card. That was a private banking card, the kind only the wealthiest clients carried. Jenna leaned in to read the name, her face drained of colour, because printed in bold silver letters were the words, "Grayson Wells, CEO, Wells Industries." I don't think I'll ever forget the way Jenna's face collapsed when she read that name. Grayson Wells. The man the media called the ghost CEO. Wealthy, powerful, mysterious. No one had seen him in public for over a year. Rumours swirled that he preferred to observe people quietly without cameras or entourages. And we had just humiliated him. Jenna's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Mr. Wells, I'm so sorry." He raised a hand, cutting her off without even looking at her. His eyes were locked on me now, searching, measuring. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "Sophie," I managed to whisper. He nodded slowly, sliding the black card back into his pocket. Jenna rushed forward, her voice suddenly dripping with fake warmth. "Mr. Wells, if you'll let me personally assist you." He ignored her completely. Instead, he turned to me again. "Sophie, do you have time to help me find a gift?" I swallowed hard. Yes, of course." The entire store seemed to hold its breath as he offered me his arm like we were old friends. I glanced back at Jenna, who looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. For the next 30 minutes, Grayson and I walked the store together. He asked for my opinion on everything, scarves, cufflinks, even custom suit fabric. I answered as best as I could, trying not to shake. Finally, he selected a simple, elegant leather briefcase. "For my father," he explained. He taught me that value isn't measured by price, but by how something makes you feel. I nodded, trying to understand what this moment even was. We reached the register and Jenna practically leapt to ring him up, but he placed a hand on hers, stopping her cold. "No," he said firmly. "Sophie will handle this." She stepped back, humiliated as I finished the sale. My hands trembled as I placed the briefcase in a glossy black bag. He took it, smiled softly, and leaned in. "Meet me outside when your shift ends," he whispered. "I have a proposition." And with that, he left. The rest of my shift crawled like molasses. Jenna avoided me entirely, her fake smile gone. The other associates whispered behind my back, shooting me jealous glances. I couldn't blame them. I didn't understand any of this myself. When my shift finally ended, I stepped outside into the cool night air. Grayson was waiting by a sleek black car, leaning casually against the door. I approached slowly. "I'm here," he smiled. "I wasn't sure you'd come." "Neither was I admitted. He opened the car door. "Let's talk." I slid inside, my heart pounding in my chest. We drove in silence for a few minutes before he spoke. "I test people," he said simply. "It's something I do to remind myself what real character looks like. Today you passed." I frowned. "Passed?" He nodded. "You stood up for a stranger when it wasn't convenient. When everyone else stayed silent, you risked your job." I bit my lip. "I didn't do it to pass a test." "I know," he said softly. "That's why you did." We pulled up to a small cafe. Quiet, private. He led me inside and we sat at a corner table. He leaned in, lowering his voice. "Sophie, I'm building something new. A company that values people over profits. I need someone like you to help lead it." I blinked. "Me? Why me?" "Because I've watched people for years," he replied. "And I've learned that real leaders aren't the ones who chase power. They're the ones who stand for what's right, even when no one's looking." I swallowed hard. I work retail. I'm not qualified." He smiled again. "Neither was I when I started." He slid a card across the table, this one white embossed with his signature. Grayson Wells, founder, Wells Human Capital. "I want you on my team," he said. I stared at the card, my mind spinning. Could I really say yes? Could I really leave behind everything I knew? Before I could answer, the cafe door burst open. Jenna stood in the doorway holding up her phone. "There she is!" she shouted. "She stole from the store." I froze, my stomach dropping like a stone. "What?" I whispered. Jenna stormed toward our table, flashing her phone like it was a badge. "I have footage. She slipped something into her bag when she thought no one was looking." Grayson stood slowly, his calm expression darkening. "That's a serious accusation," Jenna smirked. "Check her bag." I felt the heat rise to my face. I hadn't taken anything, I knew I hadn't. But Jenna's confidence made me second-guess everything. Grayson turned to me. "Do you mind?" I swallowed hard, heart pounding, and slowly handed him my bag. He opened it carefully, checking every pocket. "Nothing." Jenna's face twisted. "Check the lining." He did. Still. Nothing. I let out a shaky breath, but Jenna wasn't done. "She's hiding it on her," she hissed. "I know she is." Grayson's jaw tensed. "You're done." Jenna blinked. "What?" He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small pin. A security badge for Wells Security Services, the company that provided surveillance for dozens of high-end stores in the city. "I own the cameras," he said coldly. "I've already reviewed the footage. Sophie didn't steal anything." Jenna's face drained of colour again. "But you did," Jenna staggered back. "What?" He leaned in. "I have footage of you slipping 3 pairs of earrings into your pocket last month, and don't bother denying it. My team filed a report before I even walked into the store today." Jenna's mouth dropped open. "You're under investigation," Grayson continued, "and you're fired. Effective immediately." Jenna stumbled back, speechless, before turning and storming out of the cafe. I sat frozen, trying to process what had just happened. Grayson turned to me, his eyes softening again. "You okay?" I nodded slowly. "I think so." He reached across the table, taking my hand gently. "Are you ready to change your life, Sophie?" I stared at him, and finally nodded. Yes. The following week was a blur. Grayson had arranged everything, paperwork, meetings, even a personal mentor to train me in leadership and operations. I kept waiting for someone to tell me it was all some cruel joke, that someone like me didn't belong at the table with people in suits and million-dollar contracts. But no one did. Grayson stayed close by, guiding me through every step. He explained his vision for Wells Human Capital, a company that would bridge the gap between skilled workers and meaningful careers, regardless of background, education, or status. We're building opportunities for people like you, he told me one afternoon. People who are overlooked, people with heart. And I believed him. More than that, I believed in the mission. Weeks turned into months, and slowly I started to find my footing. I learned about hiring, negotiation, team leadership. I sat in on interviews, managed projects, and even led my first small team. But not everything was perfect. One evening, after a long meeting, I overheard two executives whispering by the elevator. "Why her?" one sneered. "She's just a shop girl. What does she know about running a company?" "Exactly," the other replied. "She's nothing but a charity case." I felt my stomach twist. When I told Grayson, he didn't sugarcoat it. "Not everyone will believe in you, Sophie," he said quietly. "But I do." I swallowed hard. What if they're right? He leaned forward, looking me straight in the eyes. Then, prove them wrong. And I did. Every late night, every presentation, every success, I carried that promise with me. But just when I thought things were finally stable, something happened that I never expected. Grayson started pulling away. He cancelled meetings last minute, he stopped returning calls, he left projects unfinished. And then, he disappeared. No one knew where he was. Rumours spread like wildfire. Grayson Wells has vanished. Again. The board panicked. Investors pulled out. The company started to spiral without him. And me? I felt like I was drowning. One night, while clearing out my office, I found a sealed envelope hidden inside my desk drawer. My name was written on the front in Grayson's sharp handwriting. I tore it open with trembling hands. "Sophie, if you're reading this, I've already stepped away. Don't be afraid. This was always the plan. You were never just a trainee. You were never just a helper. You are the future of this company. I've given you the tools, I've given you the platform. Now I'm giving you the lead. Trust your instincts. Lead with heart. The world needs people like you. I believe in you. Always." Grayson tears blurred my vision. The next morning, I stood in front of the entire staff, every doubter, every skeptic, every supporter, and I made the announcement. "I'm taking over as acting CEO." The room fell silent. I expected laughter, protest, even walkouts. But instead, they applauded. One by one, they stood. And in that moment, I knew I wasn't standing in Grayson's shadow. I was standing in my own light.